Auntie Mickey's house. Oh yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. You're in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, grab a seat. Come on in and hit that light, hit that light. Oh, you're Aunt Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's house. Grab a seat, grab your feet. Let's sip some tea, sip that tea. Entertainment, news, and spirituality. From the culture to the fun, Auntie sets the tone. Sets the tone. With a laugh and a truth, she holds the throne. She holds the throne, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Come on in now. Auntie Mickey's house. Oh, Auntie's house. You're in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, yeah, yeah. Come on in and hit that light. Don't forget now. Auntie Mickey's house. She can roast with a smile, drop wisdom too. Break down the headlines, bring it straight to you. Straight to you, baby. Community strong, conversation grown. Grown talk, baby. Auntie Mickey's house. Make yourself at home, yeah. Come together, every voice is heard. Every voice. Respect the vibe, let's share the word. Oh, yeah. From the jokes to the prayer, she keeps it real. Keeps it real. Auntie Mickey's house, that's the deal. That's the deal, baby. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. Oh yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. On in the house. You know you're in the house. Come on in and grab a seat, grab a seat. Come on in and hit the light, hit the light, hit the light. You're at Auntie Mickey's, yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's, Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's house. It's Auntie Mickey's house. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. You're in her house. You know you're in her house. Come on in and grab a seat, grab a seat. Come on in and hit that light, hit that light. Oh, you're at Auntie Mickey's. Yeah, 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 yeah. Auntie's house. Auntie's house. Auntie's house. Grab a seat, drop your feet. Let's sip some tea, sip that tea. Entertainment, news, and spirituality. From the culture to the fun, Auntie sets the tone. With a laugh and a truth, she holds the throne. She holds the throne, yeah. Auntie's house. Oh, Auntie's house. You know you're in her house. Come on in and grab a seat, yeah. Come on in and hit forget. Auntie Mickey's. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie Mickey's house. Oh yeah, yeah. She can roast with a smile, drop wisdom too. Wisdom too. Break down the headlines, bring it straight to you. Straight to you, baby. Community strong, conversation grown. Grown talk, baby. Auntie Mickey's house. Make yourself at home, yeah. Come together, every voice is heard. Every voice. Respect the vibe, let's share the word. Oh yeah. From the jokes to the prayer, she keeps it real. Keeps it real, keeps it real. That's the deal. That's the deal, baby. Yeah, yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. Auntie's house. Oh yeah. Auntie Mickey's house. You know you're in a house. Come on in and grab a seat. Grab a seat. Come on in and hit that light. Hit the light. Auntie Mickey's house.
Happy Friday, y'all. Happy Friday. I'm still sick. How y'all doing? Oh my goodness. I am so glad this is Friday. I could just pass out right now. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I promise. I promise. I promise. Hey baby, I see, did you see my message in the chat? I had to shout you out. Had to shout you out. Oh goodness. How is everyone doing this beautiful Friday evening? So glad it's the weekend now. Oh my goodness, it is the weekend and I can't wait until I can get it started tonight. My goodness. My goodness. It has been an uneventful day. I'm trying to get over this yuck. And my baby been helping me out a lot. But wow, I can't wait for you to get home too, boo. Yes, us old folk we do flirt. We still flirt. Just in case y'all didn't know. Us old folk, we flirt. And ain't nothing wrong with that. We setting an example for the young folks. How is everyone doing? Hello, Barbara. How are you doing, sweetheart? I see Rachel Haynes here. Mr. Phillips is here. LaWanda. Oh, good. Hey, Anthony, my time. How are you, sweetheart? Good to see you on time. Oh, goodness. Hey, Benjamin. How are you? Hi, Camille. Oh, let's see who else. My fingers is not moving quick enough. Millionaire's Cove. Hello, sweetheart. Thank you. I am feeling a little better, but it's still kind of lingering. You know what I'm saying? You probably hear it all up in my sinuses, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll get past it. I'm going to be just fine. Yes, sir. Hello, Satin Doll. Satin Doll in the house. Yes. Hi, Dawn. Catherine Powell is here. Hello, Catherine. Let's see. Oh, and there's me. I'm just scrolling down. I want to make sure I shout everybody out. Hello, Chandra. Hello, sweetie. I think I got everybody. Did I get everybody? Oh, thank you, Barbara. I'm trying. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much for your concern. These double lives are irritating. I know they're hard to get used to. But I guess it's supposed to be something beneficial. I still have yet to see the benefit, but oh well. All it does is confuse me. So I'm just rolling with the punches, as they say. So I hope you guys had a wonderful day today. I for sure did. I did absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing. I laid in that bed until I couldn't lay no more, and I must have watched TV all night, all day. Thought I was resting, but hey, yes, TGIF Millionaire's Code. I've been on YouTube all night, all day. Everything is Diddy 50 Cent, Diddy 50 Cent, 50 Cent Diddy, Diddy 50 Cent, everybody else, and Diddy. Boy, I mean to tell you, if I ain't never seen a topic trend so much until now. Dawn says, I keep falling asleep early and waking at 3 a.m. You know what they say about that 3 a.m. call? That's the Lord trying to talk to you. That's the Lord trying to talk to you at 3 a.m. He'll wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning. He got a word for you. Yes, he does. Hello, Lisa. How are you, sweetie? My goodness. Yes, I get them 3 o'clock wake up calls every now and then if I ain't already up. And menopause. Had to slip that one in there, huh, Dawn? Yeah, that menopause. It'll let you know. Hello, I'm here. I'm here. How you doing? How's your eyesight? How's them cramps in your legs? Oh my God. It's, my daddy used to always complain, it sucks to get old. Well, hey, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to get old. When young folk tease me about being old, I always tell them, you should be so fortunate to get this age. You should be so fortunate. You better hope and pray you open your eyes every day until you get this age. Until then, shut up. But hey, they're young. Young, dumb, and full of you know what. Absolutely. But yes, this 50 Cent thing. Did I see AV today? No, I didn't. Oh, wait a minute. That's a lie. I'm so sorry, Satin. I saw those two brothers on the couch, the two sex workers. I saw a brief part of that. And oh my goodness, I don't know what to think of that. That was a mess. I mean, it ain't no mess. It's more than a mess. It's a big old pile of mess. Ain't that the truth, Millionaires Cove? A lot of them ain't making it to 20. A lot of them ain't making it to 20. They going early. People are leaving this world early. So every day is a good day above ground, that's for sure. That's something the old folk used to say all the time, and now I understand what they meant. She's on one tonight, Satin. I know she's on it. I love AV. I love AV, her and Lead Attorney. I love them both because they're so real, they're down to earth, and they're very knowledgeable about what they talk about. And she's the daughter I never had. Her and Tisa Tales. Me and my husband always claim them too. That's the daughter we never had. Both of them. And when I was up on their panel, the last time I was up on their panel, I told her that. I said, you know what? You are the daughter I never had. She said, yeah. And we kind of look alike too. Yeah. Yeah. So, yep, that light skin be running deep, don't it? But yes, she's a really sweet young lady. And I'm glad to see Lead Attorney is doing better in his health issues. I was very surprised when he announced it, and I was very sad for him as a matter of fact, but hey, he's trudging right through and seems to be doing better. So I will continue to admire both of them. Absolutely. So yeah, I did watch a little bit of what she did today. I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of it, but from what I saw, them two brothers sitting on that couch talking about nut juice and and baby oil on that mink couch was a bit much. Yeah, it's a much. That was a much. More than a much. So anyway, oh my goodness. It's cold in New Jersey too, and we're supposed to be getting snow tomorrow. What is up with this weather? I cannot get over this weather. We have floods going on up here in Washington State, and I have yet to see one. And I guess that's a blessing. Because from what I'm seeing, people are being evacuated out of their homes. And I'm like, thank God I ain't one of them. These knees is bad. They'd have a problem getting me up out of here. Because I certainly ain't going to try to swim. Not in that mess. So, Yeah, we'll pray for each other and our weather issues across the country. Because, we get up in age, we get these bad knees and pains in the back and Charlie horses. Ooh wee. Arthritis. Uncle Arthur is seriously on a rampage right now. Definitely on a rampage. So, anyway, I got such a kick out of last night showing the OGs last night. Unfortunately, I don't have that video up for tonight, but I'm going to make it a point to, maybe once a week, just play a little bit of a throwback of the OG videos, because, hey, I love to look back. I love to look back. Ain't nothing wrong with looking forward, but sometimes you got to look back to see where you came from. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, but yeah, 50 Cent is definitely on Diddy's neck. Every time I turn around, Jesus, is something new about 50 Cent and these videos. I mean, this footage. Just when you think you can't, just when you think you can take a breather, you know what I'm saying, and pull away from the television or your devices or your phones, man, something else pops up. This brother is making his rounds. Hello, Cora Banks. Yes, Millionaires Code 50 ain't playing. He ain't to be played with, and he don't care. He don't care what nobody say. He don't care what nobody do. I mean, good Lord. I guess somebody put a warning out. Somebody put some kind of a warning out there yesterday. I see that at. I mean, we can't even get away from the television just to do some shopping on Amazon, or do some laundry. It's just so much going on. But every time I turn around, there's some new explosive news being released about 50 Cent and that Diddy documentary saga. So last night, I saw that there's another 140 hours more of footage in 50's possession that Diddy had recorded of himself. What a Of course, he didn't want to pay Millionaires Code. That's his problem. That's what narcissists do. They want to control the narrative, but they don't want to pay for the narrative. They really don't. And his demise is his own fault. So this is way past the whole trial, sentencing, all that stuff. We all thought that Diddy got away with a lot of stuff again when he went through that whole trial. A lot of us were disappointed in the outcome. But here we are. Oh my goodness. Them charges they put on him didn't quite put him away for as long as we thought he deserved to be put away, locked up for. But man, he was not guilty on the serious charges and guilty for 2 corny little counts of the Mann Act. Okay, the Mann Act. Isn't that special? The man who don't act like a man. But Diddy rolls in. He's the brother on the white horse, breaking through the clouds, and brought in a possibility of payback in Diddy's life. My goodness. And even a lot of people are coming out and speaking out. I think it's really a good thing that this is happening, because now people are feeling more comfortable speaking out. A lot of people are speaking out on what's going on. You said the stuff on AI, Mr. Phillips. I can't tell what's AI and what's not. But I do know one thing: what goes around comes around. And I don't know if God has a bigger plan for all this. Maybe there's some other folks in Hollywood that need to get on the get right train before they're next. You know what I'm saying? It's a cautionary tale. But this brother is long overdue. Long overdue. I mean, 30 years. 30 some odd years of just deplorable behavior. Deplorable. And he don't, he don't discriminate. You can be a man or a woman. Exactly. If he even gets out at all, Millionaire's Cove. Because some of the upcoming potential charges on this man, he may never see the light of day again. He may never see the light of day again. I woke up this morning. When I go to sleep at night, I leave my TV on all the time. And, that's a pretty bad habit I have. But nevertheless, I had the TV on and I woke up and the first thing I see up on this screen is breaking news. Absolutely, Millionaire's Cove. He does deserve it. Breaking news on 50 Cent. Something more about 50 Cent. And then apparently some guy by the name of Big Brother G posted on Instagram what appears to be a heads up, like a warning. Let me see if I can pull that up for you. I don't want to have to read it when I can show it to you. Let me see, which one is it? I got so much crap up here on this screen. I really don't know which one it is. Let me see. I think this is it. Oh, wait. Yeah, this is it. This is somebody that posted on Instagram by the name of Big Brother G. I pulled this up this morning, and it says, tell Fifth that Ja Rule and his first mama, I guess his baby mama, started following each other on IG an hour ago. Now, this was in the morning, early this morning. Prepare for the worst. Really? Jay-Z, Ja Rule, Rock Nation, Desiree Perez are out to get him out the paint. And I guess this caught 50's eye because he responded. He said, F them all. My momentum make them all get together, LOL. So, once again, he don't care. He does not care. Oh, you saw this on Ticket TV? I'm not sure where I saw this. I know I pulled it up on Instagram and I seen it and I'm like, whoa. But hey, F him. My momentum makes them all get together, LOL. Wow. And then I hear some more breaking news. Oh my goodness. It's like news is breaking every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes it seems. Breaking news, 50 Cent's next documentary very well may be about the death of Kim Porter. Oh my God. Can you believe that? Can you imagine what that documentary might look like? He's trying to bury this man. He's not getting up off his neck. He is on Diddy's neck. And he does it with a smile. Have you noticed that? 50 does it with a smile. And then further reports even say that Jamie Foxx is jumping on the bandwagon. Oh my goodness. Further reports say that Jamie Foxx is allegedly going to team up with 50 Cent in the development of part 2. Wow. And even Jamie Foxx's bodyguard told, actually, this guy used to bodyguard both Diddy and uh, Jamie Foxx. I think it was Jamie Foxx. But he told Piers Morgan that Diddy may have been involved with his poisoning earlier this year. This is what the bodyguard was saying to Piers Morgan. So there's a lot of people vested in this whole thing. So much that it's crazy. Let me get rid of this one box. Or maybe I should leave it there. Shoot, if I click on it, it might go away. And then I'd be messed up. Because you know I always struggle stream. You know what I'm saying? Oh, goodness gracious. Well, let me see. I had something I wanted to share with you. And I think it is also on Instagram. There was the chef. What was her name? Chef Jordan, I believe. Yeah. Well, here's some interesting information. Let me see. Mr. Phillips says, "Hey, Auntie, did Kim Kardashian graduate from law school?" I have no idea, sweetheart. I do not know. I really don't know. Millionaire's Club says, "Auntie, tough news fighting for Kim Porter as well. This is going to be interesting." It sure is. He's got he's got a lot to answer to. He's got a lot to answer to. But you know, I was watching Tisa Tales. That's my other daughter. And she broke so much down. Yolanda, did I get your email? Did you send it today, sweetheart? Let me see. I know I got one email from you, and I think I responded, but I didn't see one today. I didn't get to check today. Hold on just a second. I got so much going on up here, I can't think straight. Did you send it today? Oh no, the other day, I think I responded. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I thought I said something to you publicly yesterday about it. I thanked you so much. That really touched my heart. And I did respond. So, yeah, I remember responding to your email, and I really, really appreciate it. I think it was your email. I'm going to have to check now because now I'm confused. You know, I'm geriatric. I don't be remembering. Let me see. I see a bunch of bills. Dang it. Oh, wait a minute. No, that was something. That was Sloan. Okay, did you see a response from me, Yolanda? Oh, I see it. Yep, I did respond to you yesterday. But that's okay, sweetheart. I'm so appreciative of that email. It really touched my heart. And I'll say it again. I love you to death. I love you to death. Okay, what is this? Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to reply to him later. Bless his heart. Okay, you did get my pics. Hey, Solomon. No, I did not get your pics. Where did you send them and what kind of pics were they? I'm almost scared to ask, Solomon. I'm almost scared to ask. I hope they don't rhyme with pics. Oh my God. Because you are just that crazy. Oh my God. But let me get back to what I was saying before I forget. I was watching Tisa Tells and she was breaking down. You should be scared. Oh shit. Uh-oh. My husband's in the room too. You better be careful. He gonna rebuke you. He gonna give you a chat rebuke. Oh my goodness. But yeah, she was, she brought up the fact that that one attorney, Anthony Rico, the brother that dropped out of representing Diddy back earlier this year. He dropped out in what, February, March, something like that. And nobody really paid that too much mind. But now they are. What did he see coming down the pipe? You think that he might have figured out that Diddy was recording everything? Because now Agnifilo is pissed. I mean, he's livid. He's not just disappointed. He is livid, which gives me an inclination to think, uh-oh, did you do or say something that could cost you your license? Man. But yeah, Anthony Rico was one of the attorneys on Diddy's team who suddenly quit. Matter of fact, he quit on February 21st. Yep. Citing that under no circumstances could he continue to serve effectively. He stated that there were sufficient reasons related to the protections afforded by the attorney-client privilege for his resignation, but didn't disclose any specifics. And he remained on the team as a lawyer of record until a judge formally approved his withdrawal, anticipating before the trial began in May of 2025. So now, looking back on that, what did he see or experience that made him make that move? And I bet he's glad as hell. But this is yet another puzzle piece falling right into place. I mean, falling right into place. But the thing I was going to talk about the Chef Jordan. Apparently there was a guy named Neil Dominique. See, this case is so full of different people. This is where the RICO can come in that should have come in the first place. But this is a whole new RICO possibility. If they get enough information to establish that this stuff really took place and connect these dots. Neil Dominique was an assistant to Diddy. And he could actually be charged for obstruction of justice in new charges regarding Diddy. It was Neil and Bob. Who was Neil and Bob? You know what, Solomon, I'm going to whoop you. Where's my belt? Where's my belt? Neil and Bob. I was slow, but I caught it. Hold on just a second. Hold on. Okay. There's my tea. I was looking for my tea. Oh, goodness. But this Neil Dominique dude, he was playing like he was friends with people. Now, he actually wrote a letter. It was a character witness kind of letter that he wrote on Diddy's behalf before the sentencing. And this same guy, when you write one of those letters, you're under the penalty of perjury, you know. And if you're involved in any kind of way with any kind of obstruction or anything like that, conspiracy, you going down with him. And apparently the chef, he played friend to her too, and passed her name and addresses of hers and others to Diddy regarding FBI contacting them for questioning. And then, of course, the attorneys reached out to her, which spooked her. This is why she didn't even testify. It spooked her so bad because it was more or less, it was like letting them know, look, we watching you. He's watching you. But she had no idea. How did you know that the FBI reached out to me? How would you know that? I didn't even tell my family. But apparently she must have said something to this dude because he passed it on. Like I said, he wrote that. And this is the other thing. He possibly got paid to do it. Now that makes it a whole new ball game. That makes it a criminal enterprise. That makes it RICO. And not the same RICO that he was brought up on charges with before. Because the RICO charges before, those pertain to sex trafficking. But this time, this RICO would be for racketeering, conspiracy, stuff like that. The very act of a character witness, because Neil wrote that character letter to the court for Diddy under penalty of perjury, that makes him a character witness. And if he compromised an investigation by providing addresses to Diddy, it creates a significant legal challenge. Significant legal challenge, especially since Diddy has already been accused of witness tampering and obstruction of justice. Remember, when they arrested him, it took him by surprise. He knew they were coming, but he didn't expect them when they came. And when they arrested him for obstruction of justice. Oh, thank you, Barbara. Happy 6-month anniversary of your membership, love. Everybody's put hearts in the chat for 6 months membership for Barbara. Thank you so much for hanging with me for that long and being a member. Oh, hold on just a second. I forgot another note. Hold on. Okay, y'all, sorry about that. I had to grab another piece of information that I had. That's what I get for being discombobulated. But yeah, the possible charges with regard to Chef Jordan, if all this stuff is true, number one, obstruction of justice. It's a federal crime. Providing addresses to and other person's info to the defendant. You almost went to sleep? LaWanda. Don't do that to me, baby. Number two, conspiracy. If it can be proven that Neil agreed with Diddy or his team to carry out an unlawful act like obstruction or witness tampering, he can be charged. They can be charged with conspiracy to obstruct justice or conspiracy to commit witness tampering. And of course, the third charge, potential charge, is witness tampering. But it looks like everybody is definitely jumping on the bandwagon. Now, per Chef Jordan's allegations, Neil was providing witness addresses, and insider information, as well as being paid for his information. Not just on her, but of others, and causing her and others fear, which constitutes an entirely different pattern of unlawful conduct, focusing on corrupting the judicial process itself. The new focus is now obstruction of justice. And isn't that what they popped him for in the first place? I mean, for real. But everybody is jumping on the bandwagon. I even pulled up something about Tupac that might interest you. Hold on just a second.
Dwayne Keefe D. Davis is said to be behind one of the most infamous killings in history. Tupac Shakur, the 90s rap superstar, was gunned down while riding in a car with Suge Knight after the Mike Tyson fight at the MGM Grand. And over the years, there have been multiple investigations into Tupac Shakur's murder, but there has been one man who has seemed to implicate himself in the assassination again and again and again. Dwayne Davis, also known as Keefe D. By the way, spelled sometimes with two F's, sometimes with two E's.
Keefe D. Good old Keefe D. The one that wrote a book. Yes, not your man Tupac, Yolanda. Child, when that boy, oh Lord, when he went, I was so sad. I was so sad. It broke my heart. But I didn't really understand all that was going on. I don't think any of us did, really. Exactly. Even the young folks loved Tupac, and they wasn't even around. Some of my grandson, he's a Tupac nut. He's 12. He loves him some Tupac. But he doesn't even understand what this is all about. You know, he just, younger people, they don't put this all together. Yes, it was very suspicious. I'll just say, it's hard to say if it was just Diddy. Because I used to look at, what's his name? The one that was driving. I'm having a blank again. I'm having a moment, a geriatric moment. Suge Knight. I used to look at him side-eyed. Because it's like, wow, Pac had big dreams. He was a nerd at heart. I know he played the role of the big tough gangster, but he was really a nerd at heart. And Diddy was definitely jealous. He was jealous of Pac and Biggie's relationship. And Pac looked at Diddy as, you're just a nerd, man. You're with no talent. At least I'm a nerd with talent. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, that's that's very conceivable too. Anything is conceivable in that business. It's demonic.
Even sometimes with a Y, gets a little bit confusing, but Keefe D. Now, Davis was reportedly the leader of a sect of the Crips street gang in Compton, California that dealt in drug sales and trafficking. Davis eventually did time in prison on drug charges in the late 90s, but since getting out, he has been more open about his apparent involvement in Shakur's death. Davis released his own tell-all book. It's called Compton Street Legend, Notorious Keefe D's street-level accounts of Tupac and Biggie murders, death row origins, Suge Knight, Puffy Combs, and crooked cops. And he started granting interviews with YouTubers who wanted the inside scoop on what happened on that night back in 1996 out in Las Vegas. So Davis and several members of his entourage apparently attended the Mike Tyson boxing fight. But afterward, in the casino, Shakur had attacked Davis's nephew, Orlando Anderson. The fight had apparently been sparked by a previous beef over an alleged stolen neck chain. So the men eventually separated, the two groups went on their way, but Anderson, Davis, and others that were with them were reportedly still pretty heated over what had just happened. And later that night, allegedly, their plan was to target Shakur and Knight. And Knight, of course, is the head of, or was the head of Death Row Records, as they were all stopped at a traffic light. This is what happened. Now, in an interview with the Art of Dialogue channel, Davis said he was in the front passenger seat that night with DeAndre Big Dre Smith and Anderson in the back seat of the rented Cadillac.
Now, Millionaire's Cove, I'm glad you said that. And look how it's coming to pass. Suge in prison and now Diddy. It ain't no coincidence. There is definitely a connection between Tupac, Biggie, Suge, and Diddy. That almost rhymes. That is no joke right there. I don't know if it's divine intervention or just, hey, come up where you fit in. But this is no coincidence. Absolutely. And you know what? Gene has been saying this all along. Gene has been saying this all along. I only hope and pray that he's in the next documentary. But he's shared enough to where he ain't got to say another word because he done already said it all. You know what I'm saying?
And what happens next? Who fired the shots? Take a listen.
Dre, he was the one that was supposed to shoot, Tupac and Suge, but he got scared, right?
No, he didn't really get scared. He wasn't ready for that. They was youngsters, man, kids.
But once again, I mean, y'all Crips, right? So he should be used to that, right, Dre? So why was
he wasn't ready for that? Everybody got a role, man. Everybody ain't killers. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't gonna kill.
So
everybody
Dre,
ain't
he
with
wasn't
that.
a shooter?
No.
Okay, so but he was the one that was supposed to shoot up Tupac and Suge, but for some reason he wasn't ready for it, so he gave the gun to Orlando, right?
Something like that, yeah.
And Orlando is the shooter. He's the known shooter. I mean, everybody know Orlando Anderson was a shooter. So Dre got cold feet. He didn't want to do it. He gave the gun to Orlando, and Orlando shot Tupac and Suge.
Yeah, he did his thing, yeah.
Now, let's be clear about something. Anderson has always denied that he was the killer. In fact, he died just a few years after Shakur in another shooting. The other men in the Cadillac, DeAndre Smith and the driver, Terry Brown, they are also both dead. But Davis told a lot of this information to Los Angeles and Las Vegas investigators.
Wouldn't you think it's very odd, too, that the other people that were in the Cadillac are gone, too? Is that a coincidence? I mean, is it just because they lived the life? Or is it more to it than that? Were they unalived because they knew too much? Starting with this brother's nephew. It's just odd to me. This can't be a coincidence. The two other individuals that's in that Cadillac are dead. That's crazy. That's crazy. And then this one is out there singing like a bird. Probably sitting in jail right now wondering, how did I get here? Some kind of deal was cut. He wrote a book. He wrote a book about it. He's another Gene Deal. He'd been telling it. But then when it came time to lock him up, then he wanted to retract it all.
As well. And this is after he apparently became a confidential informant for a task force that was looking into the murder of Christopher Wallace, also known as Biggie Smalls and the notorious B.I.G. By the way, we're about to talk about Diddy. We did a whole separate sidebar episode on how Sean Combs' former bodyguard came out recently, spoke on a documentary, and saying that Sean Combs could have been involved in the murder of Christopher Wallace. Encourage everybody to check it out if you're interested. But then going back to Tupac, we go to September of 2023. So this is 27 years after Shakur's death. And Davis was arrested near his home outside of Las Vegas and taken into custody. And since then, after he's been charged with the murder of Tupac Shakur, he and his legal team have been working to get him out of jail and to get his case thrown out. Now, we can say definitively he has lost both of those battles. He has pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder. He's supposed to go to trial in March, but I want to explain a little bit more about this. So earlier this month, Davis's defense team filed a motion to dismiss the case. And as part of his argument, he is pointing the finger, seemingly, at Sean Diddy Combs as the one who really is responsible for Shakur's death. Yeah, this is one of those stories that we've been constantly trying to keep an eye out for, bring you updates as they develop. And for that, I got to call out our amazing sponsor, Morgan & Morgan, because their support helps us to keep on doing this. But here's the deal. If you're at the time of Shakur's death, Combs was beginning his meteoric rise to the top of the rap world. He had started Bad Boy Records, now called Bad Boy Entertainment. And of course, there was this ongoing feud, West Coast versus East Coast, with this feud that he had with Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight, again, the leader of Death Row. So I want to take a look at the legal arguments that Davis's team had in their filing. And it reads, Defendant Dwayne Keith Davis hereby files this motion to dismiss on the basis that the state of Nevada has failed to timely pursue these charges against Mr. Davis, failed to provide corroborating evidence to support Mr. Davis's coerced confession, and failed to honor the federal proffer agreement between Mr. Davis and the United States government.
Oh, I am so sorry. I am just running my mouth. I am so sorry. I didn't know that I was muted. What I was saying is that it's very conceivable, like you said, Millionaire's Code, that he is responsible, allegedly, for both. Because there was a lot of jealousy for their relationship. Tupac and Biggie were close. And they, from what I've understood, I've heard different reports that they had actually went into Tupac's garage several years, well, not several years, but shortly after he passed away, and found a lot of preparation to bounce up out of this country. And that may be why people think that he's still alive. You know, people do say a lot of crazy stuff, but it's a conceivable notion if you see what they pulled out of that garage. Because he, from what I understand, he wanted to go into the movie production business. He was writing screen movies and stuff. He was an actor. And I think he wanted to get out of the roughneck life, he was making good money as an actor. And I think he was making preparation to move higher out of the rap game. The rap game was one thing, but it was dangerous too. And after a while, he started allegedly fearing for his life. And look what happened.
Thus substantially impairing Mr. Davis's constitutional rights. So two big arguments here. One is that the government waited too long to file the murder case, 27 years. They claim that this was done maliciously. By the way, though, typically speaking, there are no statute of limitations for murder. But even if they had filed the charges sooner, this is Davis's other argument, Davis says he's immune from prosecution thanks to an agreement he had with investigators when he was hauled in to talk about Tupac Shakur's shooting. And listen, remember, Bill Cosby, we all remember what happened to him. His conviction for drugging and raping a woman was vacated because his due process rights were violated, since a former DA had, in fact, made an oral promise to Cosby that he wouldn't be prosecuted. And remember, Cosby relied on that promise to admit some incriminating things about that encounter. So a high court actually determined his conviction should be thrown out. But going back to this, the first big interview that was referenced in the filing is from a couple of years after Tupac Shakur died. On July 16th, 1998, Mr. Davis was interviewed by Assistant United States Attorney Michael Terrell. Mr. Davis's attorney, Mr. Eddie Fayol, was present. The interview was considered a proffer agreement between the United States government and Mr. Davis, under which any information provided by Mr. Davis would not be prosecuted related to that information. Mr. Davis was repeatedly questioned about the alleged murder of Tupac Shakur. Mr. Davis denied knowing who shot Mr. Shakur. Mr. Davis was asked to speculate as to who shot Mr. Shakur. Mr. Davis stated it was the Compton Police Department under the direction of Suge Knight, owner of Death Row Records. Mr. Davis was asked what would be Mr. Knight's motive, and Mr. Davis responded Mr. Shakur was getting ready to leave working with Death Row Records.
What'd I just say? Oh my God, I haven't even seen this video, I admit. I admit. But that's exactly what I was thinking, that I think that, I'm sure that Diddy had a role in it, but in the same token, it would make sense that Suge would prevent this from happening. This is crazy. And hi, Retretta. Yes, Millionaire's Cove, you sure did. You sure did. That's crazy. Wow, that blows me away. And it's ironic that, he just got grazed. How convenient. Hey, Dickin. I got to go back and investigate. There you go. He didn't want his money to leave. That was his money train.
At no time during the interview, less than 2 years after Mr. Shakur's shooting, did Mr. Davis state that he or members of Southside Crips were involved in any manner with the shooting of Mr. Shakur. Okay, goes to an issue of credibility. Well, Davis says he was interviewed again in 1999, and during that meeting, he denied that his nephew Anderson was the shooter. Mr. Davis stated that Mr. Anderson was not involved in the shooting of Mr. Shakur. Mr. Davis did discuss that Mr. Anderson was attacked by Mr. Shakur in Las Vegas the night of Mr. Shakur's shooting. Nevertheless, the decision was made to retaliate in Compton since there were so many police around in Las Vegas during the Mike Tyson fight. And during that interview, Davis blamed Compton police for spreading the rumor that Anderson had shot Shakur, although later we know that Davis himself would say that in public statements. But the motion to dismiss also says that Davis was offered immunity during the Biggie Smalls investigation in the early 2000s.
It's ironic though too, because it's, I'm sorry, the LAPD, Compton Police, California police departments in general are known to be very corrupt, especially back during that time. There were people on the there were officers on the payroll for Diddy and Suge. So this is not far-fetched at all. Hi, Down South Stitcher. How are you, sweetheart? Good to see you, love.
Filing reads. The 3 LAPD and FBI agents were part of a task force to solve the shooting of rapper Notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, legal name Christopher Wallace. The task force, through a sophisticated criminal investigation, obtained sufficient evidence that would prove Mr. Davis was the leader of the Southside Crips and his gang was responsible for over 360 kilos of cocaine and PCP. Mr. Davis provided 3 interviews to obtain immunity from prosecution. The final interview were solely questions regarding the Tupac Shakur shooting, which Mr. Davis was also provided immunity from prosecution.
Wow.
So during a December 2008 interview with investigators, that is when Davis allegedly started to spill the beans about his one-time friend, Sean Combs, who he refers to as Puffy. He claims Sean Puffy Combs solicited Mr. Davis to kill Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur for $1 million. Eric Zip Martin, an associate of Puffy Combs, provided Mr. Davis with a gun to exact revenge on Tupac Shakur for the beating Mr. Anderson received. Now, Davis reportedly told the investigators that even though the job had been partially completed and Shakur was killed, neither he nor Anderson ever got paid. He later revealed that he believes Combs had paid the go-between Zip Martin, who he claims kept the money for himself. And he said much of the same thing in a 2009 interview a year later, because according to the motion to dismiss, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, as far back as 2009, was in possession of the same set of facts that the Clark County District Attorney is now alleging makes Mr. Davis responsible for the murder of Tupac Shakur.
You know what, Millionaires Code? Yes, I agree. I ain't going to prison either for nobody. But remember, Keefe D said that he was offered $1 million. But remember, he never got paid. He never got paid. The dude that first of all, the deal was to unalive both Suge and Tupac, according to Keefe D. But because only Tupac was unalived, the deal was knocked down to $500,000, $500,000. And they put it in the hands of that other dude, the rug dealer. I don't know his name off the top of my head. And it never made Keefe D's hands. Ain't that a blip? You claim that involved in all this stuff and you don't even get paid for it. That's just, boy. But Diddy didn't like paying folks either, so ain't no telling. The middleman, that's right.
The Clark County District Attorney's Office has offered no reason as to why it waited another 14 years to prosecute a case against Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis has been irreversibly prejudiced by this unnecessary delay in prosecution of this case, and Mr. Davis's constitutional rights have been violated in an extraordinary manner never before witnessed in the annals of the American criminal justice system. Now, of course, there was a response because the prosecutors from Las Vegas called out Davis for being quite dramatic and said he has been telling on himself for decades. So their motion in opposition to the motion to dismiss states, in the years following Shakur's murder, defendant Dwayne Keefe D. Davis confessed to being involved in Shakur's murder in nearly every form imaginable. Defendant confessed to some of his role in Shakur's murder during an interview with LVMPD Homicide in 2009. Defendant admitted to seeking a deadly confrontation with Knight and Shakur in interviews with the producers of the Death Row Chronicles in 2017. Defendant recounted his involvement in Shakur's murder in his book published in 2019. And defendant has gleefully claimed responsibility for the murder of Shakur in numerous YouTube interviews from 2019 up until his arrest.
Isn't that convenient? He just going back and forth where it suits him. One minute he's involved, the other minute he's not. And now look where he is now. In jail, never got paid. Big dummy in my Fred Sanford voice. That was stupid.
And the prosecution then addressed the issue of immunity from prosecution, right? Well, maybe he's admitting everything because, he thinks he's immune. They have a response to that. Quote, defendant asserts that he has received immunity from prosecution in this case. Defendant has provided absolutely no proof that transactional immunity was ever conveyed by any prosecuting authority. Defendant has provided no federal court order conveying immunity. Defendant has provided no California court order conveying immunity. However, even if he had such a grant, they couldn't possibly cover his criminal liability in Nevada.
Bingo. That's how they were able to get away with this. Because the crime took place in the state of Nevada, and this so-called proffer agreement took place in the state of California. That's how they're able to get out of that loophole.
Defendant also claims that his proffer in 1998 and his statement to Detective Long somehow created immunity for the crime. As the court is aware, the legal community utilizes proffer to describe a contractual relationship between an interviewee and a prosecuting authority. In essence, a proffer agreement allows for statements made pursuant to the terms by the interviewee to not be used against that person. The state does not seek to utilize the 1998 proffer session against defendant and has no idea what the terms of such an agreement were between him and the federal government before he entered his plea. The report seems to reflect that this was a standard proffer where a criminal defendant is interviewed about his knowledge on all possible criminal subjects he may have information about before he's allowed to enter his plea. While he doesn't refer to the proffer agreement with the AUSA Searwright, the terms of that agreement are known. Defendant was specifically informed that this agreement was between him and the federal government. Moreover, the agreement is limited to a single date and time. It allows for the statements to be utilized on cross-examination of defendant if he ever testifies differently. Finally, the agreement is limited by its express terms. Nothing in that agreement suggests the defendant has immunity from any criminal charges. Notwithstanding, it appears to only apply by its express terms to an interview on December 1st, 2008. Certainly, defendant is free to litigate the admissibility of the December 18, 2008 statement. However, case law establishes that defendant's mistake of fact about its admissibility, particularly where he had a lawyer present who knows the specific terms of the agreement, would not lead to suppression of the statement, meaning it can't come into evidence. And on Tuesday, Clark County District Court Judge Carly Kearney agreed with the prosecution, saying Davis has provided no proof that he had any immunity deals. And we're going to expect to hear in the next few days if Davis's legal team plans to appeal that decision to the state Supreme Court. Remember, going back to Cosby, it was the Pennsylvania Supreme Court who ultimately determined that his conviction should be vacated because he had entered into an immunity agreement. So we shall see what happens. Davis says he eventually became a confidential informant to a task force that was investigating the murder of Biggie Smalls. So this is Shakur's main rival at Bad Boy Records out in New York. And we know that Biggie Smalls was actually gunned down in Los Angeles. But prosecutors countered Davis's claims by saying there's no proof of any sort of immunity offer here, and that even if Davis had been offered some kind of protection from prosecution in California or the federal court system, that wouldn't apply to his case in Nevada. And the judge agreed.
I don't understand. Did he not get anything in writing? Is it just me? Or if we done cut a deal like that, wouldn't you get something in writing to solidify this proffer agreement? That you've got immunity? I can't believe to think that this guy is that dumb. Yeah, I think they kind of did him wrong. Because I find it hard to believe that he walked away. Nothing was in writing, huh? Hey, El Boogie. How are you, sweetie? I mean, when you're talking about the gravity of something like this, you would think. Jeez, that's true, Rachel. He didn't even get his $1 million. So, yeah, maybe he didn't. Good grief. That's a shame.
opting not to throw out the case, denying the defense's motion. One of the most interesting things to come out of that motion to dismiss, though, is just how many times Davis talked about Sean Diddy Combs over the years, the disgraced rapper and music mogul that we have been focusing upon a lot here on Sidebar, currently in a detention center on federal charges of sex trafficking and racketeering and prostitution, headed to trial out in May. But I want to talk about what Davis has to.
I don't think so, L Boogie. I really don't. With all this said, I think that he was just bumping his gums. Truthfully, I think he was bumping his gums to look important. If there was such an agreement, because if I would think if you have a proper agreement, you would that would be in writing. But he went tiptoeing through the tulips all this time, writing books and shit, you know. And boom, they finally come down on him. He talked too much, and he I don't know. He wasn't all there upstairs. Something's wrong.
To say about him, what he has to say about, I should say, Puffy. That's one of the many monikers that Combs has adopted over the years, and that's how he refers to him in this filing. So Combs started his meteoric rise to stardom in the early 90s as well. Started Bad Boy Records, now Bad Boy Entertainment out in New York. There was the big East Coast, West Coast beef, Death Row versus Bad Boy. And Davis says that Combs used that as an excuse to put out a hit, an assassination order on Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight. So let's take a look at what Davis had to say about Combs, and a little bit of note about this. So Davis has told many versions of his story to police over the years, changing some details, leaving other details out. Got to take that with a grain of salt about his credibility. Sometimes he would admit the things, sometimes denying them. Again, just take that for what it is. In fact, I will also tell you, the state talks about that in their opposition to the motion to dismiss, which says on December 18th, 2008, defendant was interviewed by task force officers at his lawyer's office. This interview was surreptitiously recorded by LAPD Detective William Holcomb. During this interview, defendant confessed in detail about his involvement in the murder of Tupac Shakur, consistent with his book and subsequent YouTube.com statements. And what Davis revealed in an interview with the Art of Dialogue YouTube channel in 2021 is that his nephew, Orlando Anderson, shot Shakur from the backseat of the rented Cadillac.
Hello, Ken Big Fishing. Welcome. I haven't seen you in a long time. Thanks for stopping by.
But during an interview with the FBI in 1999, Davis apparently said something completely different. According to the FBI report, which was included in the motion to dismiss, Anderson was not involved in the shooting death of Tupac Shakur, and neither Davis nor his group killed Shakur or Christopher Wallace, a.k.a. Notorious B.I.G. Davis does not know who killed the two rap stars. He believes that either individuals from New York associated with Puffy Combs or individuals associated with Death Row Records could have killed Shakur, and that individuals associated with Death Row Records killed Wallace. Okay, so again, changing stories. And by the way, Davis goes on to say that he was introduced to Combs in the early 90s by a man named Eric Zip Martin. This is another alleged drug dealer. And this is where we get into it. So the report reads, in or around 1992, Martin introduced Davis to Sean Puffy Combs. Davis recalls the introduction occurring at the Paradise nightclub on Santa Monica Boulevard. After speaking with Combs, Davis agreed to allow Combs to use his 1964 Chevy in a music video. The video featured the artist Usher. After the vehicle was damaged in the production of the video, Combs paid $2,500 to have it repaired. And by the way, according to Davis, Combs was scared of Suge Knight. And this was a man who had a reputation for being, sometimes violent and extreme.
Suge did not play either. He just had a different way of showing his force. Suge was no joke. Now Puffy, he had it going on upstairs to a certain degree. Absolutely, Suge did not play. He was the kind of brother that would be the one that would dangle you over the side of a building. Didn't we hear about that story before? They used that in a movie once. What was the name of that movie? Done by one of them Wayans brothers, I think. It was the 5 Heartbeats, done by oh God, what's his name? Oh my God, what's his name? He did the 5 Heartbeats. But yes, that was 5 Heartbeats. Boy, Big Red. And here's Big Suge.
And that moves us now to this DEA report. So there was a DEA report from a 2008 task force meeting with Davis that was also included as an exhibit in the motion. And in it, Davis talks about the murder of a man named Jai Robles. This is Knight's bodyguard. He was killed in Atlanta in 1995. And according to Davis, he'd heard a rumor that an associate of Combs had killed Robles. The report says Combs requested to speak to Davis and asked Davis if he thought it was safe for Combs to come to Los Angeles for a concert. Combs expressed his concerns about Knight and possible retaliation related to the Robles murder. Davis advised Combs that he would provide 40 or 50 tickets to the concert. Davis could provide an entourage. Combs agreed, and Davis and his crew, in fact, attended the concert in support of Combs. Davis recalls the concert taking place in Anaheim, California. It was at this event that Combs began to solicit Davis to kill Knight and Shakur. Combs asserted something to the effect of, "I'll give anything for those dudes' heads." Quote, at a later date, Dwayne Davis, Eric Martin, Corey Edwards, Sean Combs, and others met at Greenblatt's restaurant in Hollywood. Well, at the restaurant, Combs summoned Davis into the downstairs area. Combs again told Davis that he needed to get rid of Knight and Shakur. Combs offered Davis $1 million to handle the problem. Davis remembers Combs being very afraid of Knight. So after the car that Knight and Shakur were in was hit by a hail of bullets back in 1996, Davis says that Combs wanted to know if that was the result of him allegedly putting out a hit on Shakur. The task force report states, well, at the restaurant, Martin told Davis that Combs had called Martin and asked, "Was that us?" Davis asked Martin when he would receive compensation for the shooting. Martin told Davis he would get the money when he returns to New York. Additionally, while at the restaurant, Combs called Martin again. Martin then handed the phone to Davis. Combs again inquired, "Was that us?" Davis recalled Combs sounding elated at the situation. Again, this is all allegations, but quite an allegation nonetheless.
What do y'all think? Put one in the chat if you think he was elated just to be elated. Or was it more to it than just being elated? If somebody asks you, are you happy? Was that us? Chances are, yeah, it was y'all. It was y'all. You knew it was coming. But all of this is coming. Yep, absolutely. All of this is coming. Look, Diddy's walls are caving in on him every day. With every piece of information, every video that comes out like this, his walls are caving in on him.
Now, Davis reportedly told the investigators that even though the job had been partially completed and Shakur was killed, he nor Anderson ever got paid. He later revealed that he believes Combs paid the go-between, again, Zimp Martin, who allegedly kept it for himself. So we mentioned a moment ago that an LAPD officer had recorded statements that Davis made in 2008. The state included a transcript of that interview in its filing. And in the transcript, WH refers to Wayne Higgins. This is Davis's lawyer during the interview. Q refers to the questions, and the A's are Davis's answers. Okay, so it says, WH, okay, now go on and ask whatever you want. Q, Puffy Combs. A, yeah. Q, does he play a role in this thing? WH, answer the question directly. Tell him what you think. A, did he play a role in this? WH, don't hesitate, just tell him. Question, yes. Answer, yeah, I think he did. And later in the interview, Davis said, yeah, I feel, I wish it would never ever, I wish I never met Puff Daddy, period. I swear to God. Question, yeah. Answer, he messed up my life, man. I was rich up and under the radar, all that, man. Question, that's all gone? Answer, it's all gone. Now, what about Combs' alleged involvement in the death of Biggie Smalls, legal name Christopher Wallace? Okay, this was a big one. Smalls was gunned down in a drive-by shooting out in Los Angeles in March of 1997. You might be saying, I thought they were friends, right? Anybody who followed this. We did a whole sidebar on this, but Gene Deal, a former bodyguard for Combs, who has recently started doing interviews and offering theories on Combs' alleged bad behavior, now says the rapper could have been involved in killing Biggie.
Millionaire's Code, that right there, making Biggie's estate had to pay for Biggie's funeral. That is foul. He got up there and says, I'm going to throw the biggest funeral New York has ever seen. And he went into Biggie's money to pay for that funeral. He took money out of Biggie's kids' hands. Whatever happens to Diddy, he has 100% of it and more coming to him. For that alone, just for that alone, we ain't even gonna factor in Cassie. You know, they should have charged him domestic violence for that, but they didn't, so they couldn't figure that into the thing. I care about Tupac. Biggie did freak offs, talked about doing things to children, and was an abuser. What? I never heard that one, sweetheart. If you have anything on that, let me know. Send it to me. I'd like to read about that. That's crazy.
So Deal, who was reportedly Combs' bodyguard from 1991 to 2005, sat down for the documentary Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy, that aired on Peacock. And according to him, Combs was acting weird in the lead up to Biggie's murder. He says in the documentary, the week in which Biggie was murdered, he was just acting real anxious and trying to get big at this party. And what was crazy was Big was telling people he had to be in London, but Puff was telling people he ain't going to London that whole week. You fast forward to the day of the party, and Deal says, I'm sitting up at the Beverly Hills Hotel, and I get a phone call. It's about 9 o'clock, and they say, Gene, get ready. We going to the Vibe party. I was like, we going to the party? We don't have no security. But according to Deal, tried to warn Combs this probably wasn't a good idea. I say, yo, Puff, I got some intel, bruh. He said, what? I said, yo, man, if we go to this party tonight, one of us is going to get killed. Somebody going to die because now we got East Coast, West Coast beef. He said, yo, Gene, I don't want to hear that S, so we all jump in the car. I was in a car with Puff. Big was in his own car. And the next thing you know, you hear pow, 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 pow. Biggie was shot 4 times, died right after arriving at the hospital.
And it stated by Gene Deal, maybe it wasn't, but customarily in situations where there's an entourage, there's a caravan, Biggie's car should have never been first in line. And it's suspected that that was even set up by design. Notice, Puffy wasn't in the car with him. Yes, Millionaire's Code. It's customarily that his car should have never been front in line. Oh, okay, 8. And I got your email today too, sweetie.
And according to Deal, Combs showed up at the hospital, seemed shocked that Biggie was dead. And we asked celebrity criminal defense attorney Brian McMonigal about this latest accusation against Combs, who's already facing these 3 federal charges related to the so-called freak-off activity. And again, he's facing dozens of civil lawsuits. But here's what Brian had to say.
I don't see this. This is a 30-year-old accusation.
What difference does it make?
It seems to me that it's getting to a point where Diddy's concerned, where it's dangerously getting to piling on in a way that I think might just help him. As I thought about this last night, once I saw the article in the Post and was referenced on the documentary, it seems to me that there are a lot of people now that are jumping on this bandwagon of making
that part 8.
What I would say are baseless allegations against this guy. This one in particular just smells to me.
Okay, so wait a minute now. What difference does it make how long ago it happened? If it happened and he's responsible, no matter what, if the evidence points to him, the amount of time that has passed since this has happened should not be an issue. I don't understand where this cat's coming from. So he's going to have to explain this one to me.
Did this guy say any of this stuff over the past 30 years to anybody in law enforcement? Has there ever been any kind of a suggestion that he was involved by law enforcement? It seemed to me that he was in a close relationship with Biggie, and that if anything, he was on the other side of this East Coast, West Coast fight. So,
Wait a minute. Does this dude not know how corrupt the law enforcement is? Auntie, they are now saying that Faith Evans helped Diddy get Biggie. Don't know how true, but people are talking. Plus, she is doing a tell-all as well now. Why everyone want to do it now? Exactly. Well, now they feel comfortable. They feel comfortable doing it. They feel comfortable bumping the gums now when they should have been bumping them then. But they didn't feel safe enough. Because it was alleged that Diddy served Faith up to Biggie just to keep her around. I mean, to keep him around and keep him happy, if you know what I mean. Now that's an allegation that's floating around out there. How true it is, I don't know, but it makes sense. Exactly. And Camille, if there's a part two, which I think there will be, imagine this part two is going to be explosive. This first one is nothing compared to what the next one will be. It's going to have I'll Be Sure in it, and talking, especially if they're talking about Kim Porter. You know she did. He put it in his lyrics. You can't hear? Millionaire's Cove, you can't hear? Everybody put a one in the chat if you can. If you can hear me, put a one in the chat. Yeah, she did it with him. He put it in his lyrics. I effed your wife. Oh, okay, good. Okay.
So the one thing that I would say about it is just bringing this kind of full circle to this upcoming trial. They're going to be looking for things like this, the defense in this trial. They're going to be looking for accusations that are stretched. They're going to looking for moments that they can disprove things. And make no mistake about it, there'll be a few things like that. And hope that that'll give them the kind of strength and ability to diffuse perhaps as many of these allegations as they can where this indictment's concerned.
Now, to be clear about something, Combs has always denied any involvement in the deaths of Tupac and Biggie, and he certainly has not been arrested or charged in connection with their deaths in any way.
You admit it?
As for Davis, we go back to him. It's going to be up to his attorneys to decide if they will appeal the judge's denial of their motion to the state Supreme Court. In the meantime, Davis has been denied bail, so he's going to be sitting in a Las Vegas jail until his trial, which is scheduled to begin in March. We'll keep our eye on it. Sean Combs' federal criminal case out of the Southern District of New York, where he faces charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking through force, fraud, or coercion of victim one, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Trial currently scheduled for May 5th, 2025. I want to go back to the indictment because this is really where it centers upon it. So it alleges that Sean Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. Combs then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, freak-offs. Freak-offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, pleasured himself during, and often electronically recorded. In arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. Freak-offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days, and often involved multiple commercial sex workers. During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes, unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept videos he filmed of victims engaging in sex acts with commercial sex workers. After freak-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use.
Now that's messed up. Wasn't his mama getting them IVs too? With her old behind. She's participating in the freak offs too, and she's getting IVs too. That's a lot of screwing when you got to go outside and sit in the ambulance. Yeah, I think so too, Millionaire's Code. They got to bring it to the fact that this dude bought her coffin before her funeral. I mean, before her death. What the heck does that mean? Did they not realize what was going on here? He bought her casket before she died. Are you kidding me? And nobody thought to investigate that? Nobody? That's why I say the police is in on it too. Allegedly. This is sick. This is sick business. But this is what has become of hip hop. At least our hip hop.
And let's not forget that prosecutors allege that these freak-offs weren't just happening years and years ago. In one of their letters to the court, they wrote, indeed, since at least in or about January 2024, when the defendant was unquestionably aware of the criminal investigation, the evidence shows that he is engaged in multiple freak-offs, some involving the interstate transportation of individuals to participate, has continued to use narcotics, and has contacted multiple witnesses. Now, I think there's a fair argument to say that Sean Combs' defense counsel isn't going to shy away from the term freak-off. They might accept, yeah, Sean Combs called these sexual encounters freak-offs. Yeah, they weren't with commercial sex workers, but maybe it was group sex, or maybe it was things that were filmed with him and a partner of his, but doesn't make it illegal. The way it becomes illegal is if you do bring in these sex workers, if there is some sort of force or fraud or coercion that is used, or there are narcotics that are used, and this idea that it wasn't on the up and up. But I think they're going to say it might be different from what you and I do, but it's not necessarily illegal. I want you to keep that in mind. And obviously, as you heard there are elements to the racketeering charge, this kind of idea that there was a criminal enterprise that engaged in all sorts of illegal activity. Sean Combs was leading it. The sex trafficking, again, you particularly moving people across state lines for commercial sex acts. There has to be an element of fraud or force or coercion. Combs' attorneys filed a letter asking Judge Arun Subramanian, this is the judge in the Southern District of New York who is overseeing this case.
Now, what he just said about the trafficking, what is so different between having girls coming in over state lines and having dudes coming in over state lines? Are they not paying both? I'm trying to see the difference. Or is force the issue? Because the brothers wasn't being forced to do it. They willingly came. I guess the prostitution Mann Act was what applied to them. I don't understand this. But nevertheless, let me just keep going.
They're asking him to order the prosecution to electronically produce videos of the freak-offs to the defense. And the reason they want these electronically produced, the reason they want copies of these in their possession to review and analyze, and why they need the court to step in, is because they say that under the current protective order in this case regarding how evidence will be viewed and disseminated, the video evidence is available for inspection only, right? They have to go to a certain place provided by the prosecution in order to view these videos. They say that's not fair. And according to the defense, the federal prosecutors refuse to produce over these videos to them.
Now, aren't we glad that 50 Cent stepped in and rectified all of this? Because there's just too much bullshit going on between police and all this other stuff that they're preventing footage from coming in. Aren't you glad that that Diddy was so narcissistic and cheap that he was so busy filming himself for whatever weird reasons, because he was narcissistic and full of himself, and Diddy got a hold of it. Yes, T, my boy Free Diddy. Right, your boy Free Diddy. He gonna be free bent over in prison for the rest of his life. That's where your boy gonna be, bent over, free. he ain't gonna be able to pay for it because he gonna be broke by the time he's done with all this.
But more importantly, and this is the key, Combs' lawyers write, we need these videos because they prove our client is innocent. Quote, having reviewed these videos, it is now abundantly clear that they confirm Mr. Combs' innocence and that their full exculpatory value cannot be investigated and used unless they are electronically produced. The 9 videos at issue are the so-called freak-off tapes with victim 1 that the government has repeatedly referenced, causing wild speculation in the media.
That's right.
Contrary to what the government has led this court and the public to believe, the so-called freak-offs were private sexual activity between fully consenting adults in a long-term relationship. Like many Americans in the privacy of their own bedrooms, they sometimes filmed their sexual activity.
He ain't getting out in no 2 years. T, let's be real. He ain't getting out in no 2 years. If 50 Cent have anything to say about it, that documentary opened up a can of worms, and now there's going to be a part 2, allegedly. Yeah. You go ahead and hey, you have the right to cheer for your boy, but your boy ain't going to see the light of day outside of that prison. As a matter of fact, if they pop him anymore, he going to a bigger prison with bigger dudes bending over more. He might like it, but hey.
These videos unambiguously show that the person alleged in the indictment to be victim 1 not only consented but thoroughly enjoyed herself. And we believe victim 1 to be Cassandra Ventura. This is Diddy's ex, who first filed that initial sexual assault lawsuit against Combs back in 2023. She was also in that infamous surveillance footage that was published by CNN months ago, where you see Sean Combs in a towel beating Cassandra Ventura, dragging her, kicking her. The filing goes on to say, quote, moreover, contrary to innumerable sensationalistic media reports, the videos do not depict sex parties. There are no secret cameras, no orgies, no other celebrities involved, no underground tunnels, no minors, and not so much of a hint of coercion or violence. So not only talking about the allegations in the indictment, but also all of the claims that have been made in the media as well. Now, far from the government's lurid descriptions, the videos show adults having consensual sex, plain and simple. At bottom, this case is about whether victim 1 was or was not a willing.
Let's see if it was consensual conspiracy and witness tampering.
Participant in her private sex life with Mr. Combs. The videos confirm that she plainly was. And the defense in this letter describes victim 1 in these videos as, quote, happy, dominant, and completely in control.
And drugged.
They write, there is no evidence of any violence, coercion, threats, or manipulation whatsoever. There's no evidence that anyone is incapacitated or under the influence of drugs or excessive alcohol consumption. There is certainly no evidence of sex trafficking. That's what they say.
And what about the Tootsie? What about the Tootsie? I guess that's just pink sugar. Come on, man.
They go on to write, the premise that freak-offs are inherently dangerous shows that the government seeks to police non-conforming sexual activity and that it assumes, despite all evidence to the contrary, that a woman's willing participation must have been coerced. So again, that idea of doesn't seem like they're shying away from these freak-offs, but saying, while the freak-offs might be unusual, they're not illegal. Now, the defense also says that they reviewed photographs that they say victim 1 allegedly sent to Sean Combs, and they too appear in their characterization, quote, to reflect entirely consensual sexual activity.
Yeah, right.
And the defense also claims in this letter that these recordings corroborate what witnesses have told the government. And they don't really explain more about that, but that seems to suggest that these witnesses are going to be helpful to Sean Combs' defense. Maybe these are sex workers who were there and say, look, our opinion, Cassie consented to everything that was going on, or victim 1 consented to everything that was going on. Now, we actually spoke with criminal defense attorney Bradford Cohen about.
Now, they act like Cassie's the only woman that was involved with these freak-offs or any other, inappropriate sexual behavior. They're totally not talking about the young lady that they went to the house and she went to her friend's house and her friend set her up and Diddy walked in the door and did a number on him. Oh, okay. Let me put this one up. Y'all let 50 trick y'all with the bad, but what about the good? People got rich off Diddy parties, businesses you can work and freak. Everyone would love that kind of job. I don't know about if everybody would love that kind of job. I don't know if I would want to go into a hotel wiping up nut juice off the. No, no, I don't buy that one. Cassie, I think she's gonna get in some trouble down the line. A lot of folks upset. I don't know, possibly, but they pretty much gave her a deal. That's why she was able to walk away from this. So, but they're not talking about all the other females that have been, mishandled, so to speak.
Out this, and he's represented celebrities like Drake, Lil Wayne, Kodak Black. And the question is, based on the defense's characterization, is this the end of the prosecution's case, right? Do these videos prove that Sean Combs is innocent? Is there anything more? Take a look.
I think it's interesting because, from the very beginning of this case, I was saying, I think that the original tape showing the violence against Cassie, I think the original tape was leaked by her team to show that she is a victim and not a willing participant or a co-defendant. So I've been saying that for a long time. So to hear this, that, okay, we've seen these 9 videotapes, and these 9 videotapes kind of back up what we've been saying the whole time, that it's consensual sex between adults. It's an interesting thing to say, because I think that the videotapes are going to show that Cassie probably was engaging with another individual. The videotapes are probably going to show that it wasn't a hidden camera, maybe that she was making faces or saying something to the camera that confirms that it wasn't a hidden camera or someone's talking on camera. All those different things definitely help his case. Is it a smoking gun, as we say? No, probably not a smoking gun, because she's going to still say, listen, I was still under the control of Sean Combs. He was physically controlling me. He was mentally controlling me. That's going to be where she goes with this whole thing. And that's where that tape of violence comes in, to show that, yeah, it might have looked like I was doing these things on video, that I was a willing participant. But in reality, I knew if I was not a willing participant, then something else would have happened to me physically or mentally.
And here's the thing, what they're not talking about, I guess the 50 Cent tapes had not come out yet, or the documentary had not yet surfaced. So what are they saying now? They're not saying anything about that stuff now. I believe this video was done prior to the documentary. So we've got a whole lot of other footage. Not only what came out in the last documentary, but what's to come in the future. What has been recorded that he exposed? Now, we all saw that first scene at the beginning of the documentary, that he was recording his own attorney. His attorney is livid now, because they're all sitting there trying to figure out, what did I say around this dude? Diddy was known for recording people without their knowledge, just so he could have something over them. Millionaire's Cove said, and I honestly think he was controlling her, and she really feared for her life. Shoot, look what he has already done to people. Exactly. But, again, on a legal standpoint, she was, man, didn't look good for her. They had to offer her something. Me either, Don. He was never talented to me. He was never talented to me. Not in terms of music. He didn't know nothing about production, music production. He didn't know what a C or a B sharp was. Shit. All he did was give directions. Had nothing to do with the compilation of a video or music. So I'm sorry. He was talentless in that area.
Now, you might be saying, well, look, the fact that the tapes exist, Jesse, that shows that Sean Combs is guilty, because the government alleges he secretly filmed these encounters and used it to blackmail victim one to stay silent, to do what he wanted. The defense, to do what he wanted. Well, the defense has an answer to that in their letter. They write, these recordings were not on Mr. Combs' devices and were not seized from his homes. Rather, Victim 1 kept these videos on her own device for years and produced them to the government herself. Now, Bradford also had an interesting take on that as well.
If the defense had these tapes, or Sean Combe had these tapes, when the tape came out, or when the accusations came out that she was not a willing participant in this sex, you don't think those tapes would have been leaked? Like,
He would have gotten in a lot of trouble if he did that, right?
Well, before the charges were even filed, when she said, when she first hit him with the civil complaint, and in that civil complaint said she was not a willing participant, she was not involved in these things, all these different kind of accusations in that civil complaint, you would at that point say, what are you talking about?
He settled with her the next day. And if you're him, I don't want to release these videos of me, my private sex life. He probably didn't want
to. There's a way you could leak it to make sure her version of events was questioned.
Now, in terms of the defense's argument for why they are entitled to electronic production copies of these videos, they argue that this is a form of exculpatory evidence covered under what we call in the law Brady, that the government has to turn over, that Combs has a constitutional right to properly prepare for his defense. He has a due process right. That's why he should have it. And they also cite the federal rules of criminal procedure, specifically Rule 16, which states in part, upon a defendant's request, the government must permit the defendant to inspect and to copy data that is within the government's possession, custody, or control, and that is material to preparing the defense. And here they argue that videos of the freak-offs, they are material because that's essentially the prosecution's central point in this case, the freak-offs. And they argue the government has not presented enough evidence to withhold the videos because this is not child pornography.
The freak-offs were basically 3 people involved. They were not big groups of people, as people speculated. These were consenting adults between Diddy, Cassie, and that dude on the big mink couch with the nut juice, or the other dude as well. Now, whether she consented out of fear is, at this point, neither here nor there. But like I said, with this 50 Cent situation, and he's got 140 hours of footage, that's going to put a whole new light on what was going down. And this is self-incriminating evidence provided by Diddy. Thank you, Diddy. We appreciate you being real cheap, not wanting to pay your cameraman. Thank you. You did yourself in, sir.
This is not classified information. Now, the prosecution responded in a letter of their own to the court, and they didn't directly respond to the Rule 16 argument or what the tapes show, but they argued that the defense's letter violated the protective order that has been put in place by the court. That under the protective order, that no portion of the videos should have been filed on the public docket without being filed under seal or without the defense first conferring with the government as to the designation. And they said neither occurred. Quote, instead of conferring in advance or redacting all content related to the videos, the motion blatantly violated the protective order when it left unredacted descriptions and characterizations of material designated AEO, attorney's eyes only. And they argue this threatens the privacy of victims. And they are asking the court to remove it from the public filing and have it be refiled with redactions. Well, the defense responded to that in a follow-up letter. And they said, look, we will make the requested redactions, but they want the court to step in. And they want to be able to refile this with narrower redactions. Why? Because they argue that the government's request was way too overbroad, that the government, they already told everybody what all of this is about, that they have been quite explicit and specific about freak-offs. And they also argue that there is a presumption of public access here. This is about.
Bottom line is this: we done seen enough public access. We're going to see some more. So with all that said, all of this stuff is redundant.
About the government's key piece of evidence in this case, the freak-offs, and that Mr. Combs' trial rights are being compromised by not having proper access to this material. They write, indeed, the public can only have confidence in the conscientiousness, reasonableness, or honesty of judicial proceedings if the documents on which judges rely are publicly available. And they say the government provides no satisfactory or adequate reason for why this information needs to be sealed. And I want to read you this part in its entirety because I think this is really key to the defense's argument. So in their letter, they write, quote, "While victim one may have privacy interests that justify keeping the videos themselves under seal at this stage, including details of the content of the videos, the fact that victim one was filmed while participating in the so-called freak-offs is public information. Indeed, the government has publicized that these were extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers and elaborate and produced sex performances that were electronically recorded. The government has publicized gratuitous details, including the use of baby oil, lubricant, extra linens and lighting, room damage, and delivery of IV fluids. The government even held a press conference publicizing the seizure of more than 1,000 bottles of personal lubricant and baby oil. And the government has publicly asserted that during the freak-offs, alleged victims were subjected to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse, including being hit, kicked, and dragged, and that alleged victim claims are corroborated by videos of the freak-offs. Faulting the defense for characterizing that same evidence as exculpatory and consensual is an unfair double standard and demonstrates the government's intent to mislead the public and the court. To accept the government's broad reading of the protective order would turn it into a tool to shield the public from any interpretation of the evidence that could be favorable to Mr. Combs, after the government has been able to tout its own inculpatory interpretation. The result will be an unfairly polluted jury pool, manufactured by the government's misleading narrative and widely disseminated by the press.
Widely disseminated by the press. That's a chuckle right there. But like I said, everything that was put forth during that trial, it doesn't mean a thing now. We are in a whole new ball game. And we've seen part one, about to see part two. And the court of public opinion, I think, is going to play a bigger role this time than before. That's just my own opinion. I might be wrong.
So the question becomes, how much will be revealed about these tapes, either before trial or even during trial? And you wonder how much a jury will be sitting there being shown these tapes, looking to see if there's illegal or consensual activity going on. And also, by the way, what's the reporting going to look like from inside that courtroom, right? No cameras are going to be allowed, but the reporters will presumably be front and center watching these videos because there'll be exhibits during this trial, videos of the alleged freak-offs. But I think it is fair to say that the government is not and cannot, in order to prove their case, rely solely on the tapes of the freak-offs, right? They have to have more corroborating information, whether it's witness testimony, whether it's the victim's testimony. There needs to be more to show that this isn't just group sex, but that it was forced, that it was coerced, that there was an element of violence or fear, that these sex acts were done through illegal means for Sean Combs' pleasure.
More to come. More to come. More to come. That's all I can say about that. And as far as the information that I had about that young lady, his chef, that was pretty devastating. And she was definitely in fear of her life, as were others. So again, it's going to definitely boil down to what are on those recordings. And that's why Diddy he was fighting so hard to get those things back. But you're a cheap brother. You didn't want to pay the cameraman. I see what you're doing. I see what you did. So, but anyway, I can't find, for some reason, I don't have the information that I was going to present to you for the young lady, the chef, because she did put a public thing out there to the young man that was pretending to be her friend that may actually contribute to a new RICO charge against Diddy and those that helped him carry out his crimes. But with all that said, we ain't even going to worry about that. I'll bring that up at another date and time. But in the meantime, I'm going to let y'all go. I hope you enjoyed the live tonight. You know, hey, the man's day is coming. It's already here, and it's just slowly dripping him dry. That's the bottom line right there. So, you guys, thank you so much for coming out tonight, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. It's Friday. Kick back, relax, and enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a good evening and a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Hey there, my kinfolk, thanks for stopping by. Auntie Mickey's house, where we reach for the sky. Every comment and smile, you make my heart glow. Together we're strong, together we grow. From gossip to politics, we cover it all. Sharing laughs and thoughts, having a ball. Your support means everything that I know. Feels like family here in this sweet show. So let's keep it flowing, keep the love alive. Every moment together makes me thrive. You're more than viewers, you're my kinfolk. You see, my gratitude runs deep as the sea. Thank you for being here, for sharing your time with each comment, with each rhyme. You're my kinfolk, my family, my crew. So much love to all of you. Turn up the camera, let's make it bright. Your support lifts me up, takes flight.